Welcome back to our minute-to-minute analysis of Matrix Revolutions. Last time, Bane, who was possessed by Smith, finally confronts Neo. Yet Neo doesn't recognize his mortal enemy. Neo has seen the impossible, but cannot comprehend who is the man threatening him and Trinity. However, that's about to change. Do you want to know what's hidden behind Neo and Smith's confrontation in the Lagos? Then welcome to Matrix Explained.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
We begin with Neo asking Bane who he is. Neo once knew who Bane was. He was a fellow Red Pill, and the man in front of him is not Bane. This is a sign that Neo suspects who he could be, but the idea is impossible. Bane responds with contempt for what it is to have a human body.
The stink of it filling every breath, a suffocating cloud you can't escape. Disgusting.
This is a reference to the first movie, where Smith tells Morpheus that he is disgusted by the Matrix and the humans.
I can taste your stink. And every time I do, I fear that I've somehow been infected by it. It's repulsive.
Bane then mentions how pathetic the human body is.
Look at how pathetically fragile it is. Nothing this weak is meant to survive.
Here, Smith is talking about humanity, and not Bane's body specifically. For Smith, humans are frail and do not deserve to live. Misanthropy is one of Smith's defining characteristics. His total hatred of humanity, a stark contrast to Neo's love for Trinity and the love he is supposed to feel as the one for humanity. So the hatred that Smith feels is a sign that he is Neo's negative half.
What do you want?
I want what you want.
Strangely enough, Smith mentions that he wants the same thing as Neo. Neo's goal is to reach Machine City to save Zion. Smith's goal is to kill Neo. So maybe Smith got it wrong. He doesn't understand that Neo wants peace. Neo finally begins to recognize that it is his old nemesis who is speaking.
That's it, Mr. Anderson. Look past the flesh. Look through the soft gelatin of these dull cow eyes and see your enemy.
What is it that makes us who we are and not someone else? Is it the way we look? The way we act? The way we think? Smith introduces the philosophical idea that he is beyond the human flesh. He is his essence, his consciousness. Neo could not see who he was before because he only saw Bane's body. To know who the person was, he had to see who he was inside. This is one of the many philosophies that embodies the movie trilogy. It is the subjectivism of who we are inside. The external can be changed. The residual self-image, or the body of the humans in the Matrix, could be fake. The world itself could be a lie. But the consciousness, or the true me, is the only real thing. This has philosophical undertones of Immanuel Kant's idea of pure reason. It also reverts to the idea of Descartes, cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. Smith is Smith because Bane thinks like Smith, and for Neo to recognize him, he must recognize his way of thinking. Bane thinks like Smith, therefore he is Smith. Smith has replaced all of Bane's thoughts, therefore Bane no longer exists. In the Matrix universe, we are who we think. If that changes, we stop being ourselves and become someone else.
It's impossible.
Smith tells Neo that there is no place he can go that he cannot follow. This is because Smith and Neo are one and the same and will always find each other. Doesn't matter if it's in the Matrix or the real world. This is one of the strongest arguments for Smith's return in the fourth film.
Not impossible. Inevitable.
This is a reference to the first movie when Neo is caught by Smith in the subway.
You hear that, Mr. Anderson? That is the sound of inevitability.
Smith is a true believer in inevitability, as the Merovingian is a believer in cause and effect. He believes that everything is preordained. No matter what Neo does, he must face the inevitable. He cannot escape it. Smith thinks that the future cannot be changed and that he must fulfill his purpose, which is to destroy everything. He then says goodbye to Mr. Anderson, just like he did in the first movie.
Goodbye, Mr. Anderson.
Goodbye, Mr. Anderson.
Trinity turns off the lights, allowing Neo to fight back. Smith fires the weapon, and the two begin to fight. Smith falls and yanks out a power cable. He hits Neo in the face with the live cable, scorching the man's eyes. Smith scoffs and calls Neo the Blind Messiah. This is the second time the Blind Messiah or Blind Saint has been referenced in The Matrix. In Enter the Matrix, Ghost tells Trinity that he chose to be celibate.
Is that why so many saints are blind?
Celibacy's a hands-on job.
It appeared that Smith was making fun of Neo's wound, but he was ironically foreshadowing that Neo would become a blind messiah. Throughout human history, there have been prophets, saints, and blind messiahs. Some mystics believe that going blind opens up a third eye, or a spiritual eye where one can see beyond reality, as was the case with Baba Vanga, one of the last prophets in history, who claimed that when she went blind, she began to have visions of the future. Neo goes blind, and like the legends of the other blind messiahs, something changed within him. He gained new sight. He can now see beyond the real world, beyond the limitations of his human eyes. Neo can see Smith within the body of the red pill he possessed. Smith is scared because he cannot understand how Neo can see him. We are then given a first-person perspective of what Neo sees. He can see Smith made of golden light. He sees him in his purest form. Smith looks at Neo and tells him that it's not over. Then Neo smashes his head with the metal pipe. This scene is undoubtedly an interesting one, a scene that speaks of subjectivity and the objectivism of being or not being. I think, therefore I am, and Kaitian philosophy. What appeared to be a rumble between hero and foe carries deep philosophical ideas, but if you have seen any of our videos, then it shouldn't surprise you. Furthermore, this scene gives us another clue of what the golden light could be. On that topic, we have plenty of videos. Next time, the Sentinels breach Zion. For Matrix Explained, please leave a like and subscribe, and thank you for visiting the Desert of the Real.